Our Baltimore Ravens signed CJ Gardner-Johnson, and this is exactly what this team needed. Let's read the report from Adam Schefter. It says, free agent safety Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is signing with the Baltimore Ravens practice squad per his agent, Kevin Connor. Gardner-Johnson still gets his fully guaranteed 2025 salary with the Texans, so there is little financial impact for the Baltimore Ravens, so that's just an added bonus of bringing him to this squad. But let's get into the numbers. So, in 2019, he started his career off in New Orleans, and he started off a little bit slow, nothing crazy, but in that third year, he started going a little bit better with it. He had 46 tackles and 3 interceptions. So then Philly saw that, and then the following year, they said, you know what? I think we can get the most out of you over here. So they brought CJ Gardner-Johnson over to the Eagles, and he went crazy. He had 67 tackles and 6 interceptions, so they really got the most out of him. But then Detroit said, you know what? We like what you did over there in Philly. How about you do the same thing here? But then he suffered a torn pec injury, and that ended his season early. So then Philly said, you know what? We want that old thing back. And they got him, and he went crazy. He had 59 tackles and 6 interceptions again. So they really knew how to get the best out of CJ Gardner-Johnson. And he also won the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. So that was a nice cherry on top. But then he went to Houston Texans this offseason, and things haven't quite worked out so well. It's been said that he would give up some big plays here and there. He was boom or bust type of player because he was known to make a lot of plays, but with the scheme fit with the Houston Texans, it just wasn't working out quite well. So then they said, you know what? Your salary is fully guaranteed, but we're still going to release you anyway. But one of the reasons that he was released, and this has been said for his time in New Orleans, this has been said for both of his times in Philly, and this was said for his time with the Houston Texans as well. But it was said that he has a very, very big, passionate, strong attitude. It said that he is labeled sort of as a crash out type of player. He is going to speak his mind on exactly what he feels about each and every situation. And I love that for this Baltimore Ravens team. Why? Because we need it. Right now, our Baltimore Ravens are lacking so much heart right now. We talked about this earlier this week. They ain't got no heart. They ain't got no passion. We see a lack of effort. They just seem like they ain't got no desire. They ain't got no will to really win right now. And we know a lot of guys are out, but still, this team has just been looking all kinds of bad. It's been looking rough. So somebody like CJ Gardner-Johnson, although he is on a practice squad, so you crash out enough times and you get in John Harbaugh's face, you could get cut like that. But still, this is somebody who this team needs because he can bring in energy. He can bring a passion to these Baltimore Ravens that we just simply don't have right now. And I get it. The Baltimore Ravens are sitting at 1-4 right now. So there's not too many things to be happy about. But if you can inject some energy into these Baltimore Ravens defense, you see Jair Alexander, he tried to do it when he tried to get that ball back, even though, hey, if you were that upset, you should have never let him score the touchdown in the first place. But with CJ Gardner-Johnson, this can help. Also, Malaki Starks, Ruben Lowry, Sanusi Kane. Things were looking rough for the Baltimore Ravens at safety last week. But even when Kyle Hamilton does come back, you bringing in a veteran like CJ Gardner-Johnson, it allows Kyle Hamilton to have a lot more flexibility than he had before. You get in a veteran like CJ Gardner-Johnson, it allows Malaki Starks to breathe. Chill out, relax. It allows a lot to be taken off of his plate. While we do expect him to still be a great player, we expect him to be a great safety, things have been rough for him starting off. So this alleviates so much pressure off of the young guy, Malaki Starks. Now, that was the initial plan for the Baltimore Ravens, to have that pressure alleviated because we had Kyle Hamilton, we had Ardarius Washington. But he unfortunately suffered that injury in the offseason. But it's still a chance he could come back. We'll see what happens with him. But bringing in somebody like CJ Gardner-Johnson, it can help these Baltimore Ravens on so many different levels because literally with their defense, the only place they have to go is up. So in other breaking news, still sticking with the AFC North, Joe Flacco. We're going to be seeing him a couple more times this year because the Cincinnati Bengals have acquired him from the Cleveland Browns. And that's crazy. They doing an in-division trade. I guess the Browns are like, you know what, whatever. Flacco, go ahead, man. So this paves the way for Dylan Gabriel to still remain the starter. Shedeur Sanders could possibly get a look this year. We'll see what happens with that. But for the Cincinnati Bengals, they are trying to do any and everything to keep their season afloat. I hope it doesn't work out for them, but they certainly trying. So our Baltimore Ravens, for the only quarterback that we beat this year thus far, he's now a Cincinnati Bengal. So we got some more hope. It was announced today that Captain Defense, Wes Henson, that he passed away. We had the privilege of getting to meet him 2 times at Ravens games. I know one of them was for the Ravens and Chargers playoff game in 2018, and I forgot what the other one was for.
It's Captain Defense reporting from a playoff game, the first game we had in a long time. I'm looking forward to it, and we're ready to go. We have a formula for winning. Play tough defense, win time of possession, and defense. Don't leave home
without it. You already know, man. Appreciate you. Congrats on the Super Bowl tickets, too.
So Super Bowl ticket, yeah, they paying for the hotel flight and everything.
Oh, you set, man. Appreciate you, man. But both times that we met him, super nice. Super approachable, because you could think somebody who was very, very popular amongst Ravens fans, they could get on their high horse when somebody approaches them and be like, I ain't talking to you. No, he was nothing like that at all. Always was super nice. And I think that's been the same sentiments that have been echoed from a lot of people around the Ravens community when they speak about Captain Defense. And remember the saying, he said, defense. Never leave home without it. So he was that guy, man. The Baltimore Ravens, they actually issued a statement for Captain Defense. Let's see what they said. It says, today, we mourn the loss of Wes Henson, a.k.a. Captain Defense, whose pride and passion for Baltimore were one of a kind. His iconic fandom and service for others inspired our community in immeasurable ways. A man who cared deeply about people and is enshrined as a Hall of Fame fan. Captain Defense will forever be remembered for the remarkable joy, encouragement, and love he regularly gave to everyone around him. And I like how they said that regularly, because it wasn't a one-off thing. It wasn't like if you seen him once, oh, he was nice, but then you seen him the next time, oh man, he was really mean. No, regularly. So this was something that he was consistent at. So it sucks. I do remember hearing like about a month and a half ago that he was having some health issues, but it's unfortunate, man. You just feel bad for people. You feel bad for him. You feel bad for his family. But again, it is very, very nice to know that he left a positive mark on everybody. He left a positive influence on everybody, because in today's world, that's very, very hard to do, because it's filled with just so much negativity all around us all the time. But he was a bright light in a dark world. So we are my favorite part of the videos, and that's when we get to hear from y'all. But since y'all are so special, I wanted to do a little giveaway. So if you want to still rep our Baltimore Ravens, even though I know they struggling right now, and you want this nice little fitted cap, then all you got to do is leave a like on this video, be subscribed to the channel, have the notifications turned on, and also follow us on TikTok. And once you do that, send us a DM on TikTok just saying done. That's it. And then I will pick a winner today. I love y'all. Let's get into these questions. First ones came from my guy, Jarvo. He said, good signing with CJ Gardner-Johnson, but one thing about him is he will make plays, but he also speaks his mind like a Marcus Peters. See, my God, Jarvo, he gets it, baby. He said, we mocked to have a top 5 draft pick this year, but hopefully that'll change to pick 32. Hope our next move is to sign a true pass rusher, a guard, a nose tackle. Oh, he said, and a nose tackle. I hope John felt all those boos. Oh, how do you feel about T. Martin as being a head coach? Well, if you didn't like Zach Orr being promoted to defensive coordinator with no experience, how would you feel about T. Martin being promoted to head coach with no experience? Not saying he couldn't do it, not saying it couldn't be done, but I would much rather see him take on an offensive coordinator role first, just to work his way up, not just be thrown into the fire, not just be given, anointed as a head coach just like that, because that's what happened with Zach Orr, and we've seen the results. But he also said, first, I would like the Team Keep It Clean family to keep my lady and myself in your prayers, because we lost our baby girl due to a miscarriage a few weeks ago. Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that, Jarvo, man. Dang. Sorry about that, man. He said, we staying strong and keeping our faith toward God and his plans for us, but now about these Ravens. Hey, sorry about that, man. We love you, man. We love you. Shout out to you and your lady. Sorry about that, man. He said, this is getting real embarrassing, especially with the talent that we have on this roster. Still no Jai yet. When is John Harbaugh going to have the talk with Zach Orr about this defense, or is he scared? We are down big and still running the ball, but when we down by 7, we go into panic mode, LOL. The players have checked out, and you can tell with the unnecessary penalties like false starts and other boneheaded calls. We might beat the Rams, but hey, who knows? looking a little shaky right now. We'll see. It ain't over till it's over, my friend. He said, the stadium, it looks like COVID season again. Oh, yeah, that thing was empty, huh? He said, Ravens flock, let's try to stay strong. And just like Orr and John after the bye week, I'm out. Crazy to hope for tanking. Next question came from my guy, Sean. He said, what's up, man? Hope you and the fam are doing well. I've been a diehard Ravens fan since I can remember, and I never thought I would ask this question. Should we just hope that the Ravens have a losing season so they can have a better draft capital and guarantee that Harbaugh is gone? I can't do that. I get what you're saying. I just can't do that. I can never hope that the Baltimore Ravens lose. Anyway, he said, as far as I see it, I cannot see the Ravens in the Lamar era winning a Super Bowl under John Harbaugh. He's always been the biggest problem, but Bisciotti just doesn't know how to move on. They've already wasted so much of Lamar's prime, but he hasn't even hit 30 yet. Cut the cord so he can have a better future while Lamar is still in his prime. Let's say the Ravens have a best case scenario for the regular season and win 10 or more of their next 12 games. Do we really think that with the same coaching staff and without Mads for this year, they can go on a run in the playoffs? It's possible. It would take a lot of turning around, but I want to see them have that chance. I'm always going to be on board with the Baltimore Ravens having a shot, with them being in the mix. Now, I will say that if, for whatever reason, if the Baltimore Ravens still didn't win the Super Bowl this year, then they should still move on from John Harbaugh. Even if they make it there, even if they make it to the playoffs, they should still move. If they don't win it, then they should still move on. If they do, all right, cool, keep them. But if they don't, then yeah, still move on. Anyway, he said, it just seems impossible, and I don't want to see them get bounced in the playoffs again just to have lower draft capital and the same coach in 2026. So I feel you, Sean. Next question came from my guy Kai. He said, hey, what's up, Ingravenvids? Hope you're doing well. Relative to the Baltimore Pigeons, I just have to rant. I have never seen the Ravens play like this. I've watched the Ravens since I was 7, so about 19 years, and I have seen some bad football teams, and we haven't looked that bad. We look confused and lost for most of the game. Everyone looks scared and nervous. I don't care about the injuries. The Ravens, I know, could put anyone out there, and they will go and compete. Bingo. That's true. He said, I remember having Curtis Painter out. Oh, yeah, we did sign Curtis Painter. Former Colts quarterback Curtis Painter. I forgot all. Was that 2015? I think it was. Anyway, he said, I remember having Curtis Painter out there, and we would have a chance. We wouldn't win, but we had a chance. We didn't have a chance against the Texans. Lamar really cures most of our problems, and it just sucks that we can't perform well in any phase right now. I really hope something just clicks in Zach Orr's mind, or whoever will be calling the plays, that we don't have to be so deep in the secondary. I always love the Ravens, but right now they are making me frustrated. But hey, life goes on. But my question is, did you ever play football? And if so, what position? He said, I never seen your height, but your passion makes me think you could have been a safety or something. I hope you and the fam are doing good, and go Ravens. Nope. Never play organized football, only play street. I remember in high school, I had got the mouthpiece. I had got the cleats. I was all set. I was all set for trials, but I didn't have a passion for football like we do now. I just didn't. I didn't care. When we went to the trials and whatnot, we were running laps and all that. The thing that I was looking forward to the most was just eating pizza and Gatorade afterwards at this little pizza place that was right around the corner from our school. That's it. I wasn't worried about no football. I didn't really care back then. Now, if I would have cared like I care now, and really have recently just really cared about it like that, then yeah, maybe things would have worked out, but nope, never played before. Next question came from my guy Lord Zero. He said, hello there, Ingraven. I've never written before, but I've watched plenty of videos because you do an amazing job. I appreciate you, Zero. He said, this may be different or odd perspective since I'm actually an Eagles fan, but the Ravens are my second choice team. My question for you would be, knowing that, hey, and you got some intel on our guy CJ Gardner-Johnson, Zero. Anyway, he said, knowing that the offensive line for the Ravens is falling short this season, what would be your ideal solution to it? To try something different? Throw in Corey Bullock, throw in Ben Cleveland, put them two at the guard positions and roll with it and go from there. That's what I would do. He said, also, I saw in a recent video, someone asked about what is up with Derrick Henry and is Henry having the same issue that Barkley is this season? Teams watch tape, learn, adapted, and are selling out to stop them. And both our team's offensive lines are making our running backs' jobs harder, unfortunately. Sorry for the long question, and thanks for the awesome content. No, we appreciate you, man. With Derrick Henry, I think teams are just, especially since Lamar's out, too. But even before, too, the teams are just like, look, Derrick Henry, you ain't going to be the one. You ain't about to go crazy on us. We are going to do everything and anything in our power to stop you, and they have been. Rings over Harbs. Next question came from my guy Kevin. He said, greetings, sir. This is my first question. More like a rant from subscribers. Been a subscriber since 2021. Appreciate you, man. And it's 2025. Well, that's 4 years. That's crazy, man. Thank you. He said, here's my dream scenario for us. Leadership is the issue. I'm a former vet, and if it's one thing I know, it's leadership, and that's our primary issue this year. With that being said, B-More's leadership has to put the pride aside and obtain a leader of men. Second, get a stud on the defensive line, a sack monster or a run stopper. I miss Brandon Williams, LOL. Hey, who's got Aaron Donald's number? That would be something. Bring that boy out of retirement. because he would help a lot. He said, third, Roquan Smith. Bring in Ray in some capacity to inspire role and get him a complimentary cover linebacker like he had with Patrick Queen. Furthermore, I know letting Geno walk would come back to bite us. Can you imagine him, Hamilton, and Geno Stone? We could. That would have been fun, but it's all good. He said, fourth, acquire a couple of decent inside offensive line vets. I would love to see Ben Cleveland come in at the end of the year and dominate, only to entice Ozzie and company to send Harbs on his way even more. Oh, I see what you're saying, because he's been in Harbaugh's doghouse and he hasn't been using. I get what you're getting at. He said, regardless of the email situation, we need Gruden. I've heard of worse being done. Much worse. Ooh. He said, but Coach Gruden has litigation against the league for the email, so that's off the table. In conjunction with the Ben Cleveland move I mentioned earlier, oh, how sweet it would be to just see Rex once more and then win the big one once, and that will make me smile. But knowing Bisciotti, he passed on him once. I'm sure he'll do it again. And knowing Bisciotti, he won't even fire Harbs unless Lamar Jackson threatens to leave. That mere thought makes my blood boil again. At least hire Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator. Sheesh. So do you think, if Steve Bisciotti had to choose, would he choose to keep John Harbaugh or would he choose to keep Lamar Jackson if it did come to that? Now, with Steve Bisciotti, we know that he's a businessman. What is a businessman in it to do? Make money. So with that, yeah, you're keeping Lamar Jackson over John Harbaugh. It's about that bread. But anyway, continue. He said, I'm a Raven fan since 08 and 09. Yeah, I'm ticked. So sorry. Not sorry. Rings over feelings. Rings over Harbs. Much love, my guy. Keep up the good work. All the best engraving, like Harbs should be at the end of the season, because the best thing he's done in years by getting us a top 10 pick. I'm out. Baltimore home game boycott. Next question came from my guy Joshua. He said, Ingraven, great work on what you do. Appreciate you, Josh. He said, right now, you and other Ravens podcasters and reporters are the only bright spot of the entire Ravens franchise. Nah, man, there's plenty more bright spots than us, he said. The owner and coaches have lost the fan base. The defensive players are too busy podcasting and not tackling, in my opinion. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think the only real solution to this waning season is for Ravens fans to boycott the next 2 home games. Money talks. Booing won't do anything. But if fans aren't showing up to the games, that will put a true fire under Bisciotti to fire the coaching staff. Then maybe there will be hope. Again, maybe I'm crazy. That could have an impact, maybe. But I also see this as an opportunity for a lot of fans to take advantage. And I know some people might be like, oh, Ingraven, that's stupid. I don't care. We have to lose. But look at it this way. Prices to games are very expensive. Tickets are very, very expensive. And there may be some fans that have wanted to go to a game, wanted to just have that experience of seeing the Baltimore Ravens play in person that never have. But since the Baltimore Ravens are doing so bad right now, then they're like, you know what? Hey, them tickets are a lot cheaper than they used to be. Usually the tickets started like $250, $300. But now, yeah, you can get them for $45, $50, maybe $100, something like that. So they're taking advantage of that. So it's giving people an opportunity to see the team play. Now, obviously, we would love for the tickets to be more expensive because that would mean the team was winning, because we would want the Ravens to do really, really good. But this gives people an opportunity to do that. Now, I do see what you're saying, but at the same time, if ticket prices are going down, that means the revenue is going down as well, because the value of the team is dropping. So Steve Bisciotti, I'm sure he's looking at all them numbers. He's seeing everything going on. So every negative thing that the Baltimore Ravens have going on right now, Steve Bisciotti, I'm sure he sees it and he feels it right now, because things have been really, really rough. So that right there should be enough to be like, hey, Steve, you know you got to make some tough calls at the end of the year. Think I have the answer. Next question came from my guy, Be More Mike. He said, hey, this your boy Mike. It's been a while since I wrote in, but I've been watching faithfully. Hey, I appreciate you. He said, now my question, I'm a diehard Ravens fan. I even have them tatted on me, so I can't change teams as a fan even if I wanted to. So as born into Ravens fan, I've seen them, and old enough that has been a fan since and became the Ravens when they came to Baltimore. So from my memory, I have never looked this bad since the franchise been in Baltimore as a team. We may have had losing records. Yes, most definitely we have had some terrible offenses and some okay defenses in the past, but have never looked this bad as a team where we are losing in historical numbers. So from what I have seen, when they fix the problem is one thing that I feel as though we need a change in at head coach. So I feel like they need to fire John and hire the offensive coordinator, the Chiefs or the Bills. How would that feel in Baltimore? Because obviously we cannot beat them, and they have had our number for years. Now, second, I would say the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo. But anyway, he said, second, we need a change in our offensive line and running backs. I'll say you keep Mitchell and trade Henry and maybe keep Hill. Okay, all right, all right. No, not that one, my friend. Anyway, he said, Our receiving core is fine. Only thing I say about them is next year they have to make a decision about what they're going to do with DeAndre Hopkins. I think Hopkins is just here for this year. I don't think he's going to be a long-term in their long-term plans, anything like that. But anyway, he said now the defense that they need a prayer and a miracle. So let us pray, LOL. And I feel like as though they need an overhaul in some positions, but first they need to replace Zach Orton, replace him with a ball-hawking, like-minded defensive coordinator, and then we need a total overhaul at middle linebacker and pass rushers, and also take a deep look at our secondary. That's what I feel that will fix our problem. So you're just saying basically upheave the whole team. Next question came from my guy Austin. He said, "What's up, Ingraven? This is my first time sending a question. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the defense." Yeah. Anyway, he said, "First off, what do you think about the pass rush? Even after adding Chuck Pagano, it's been bad. It's been terrible." He said, "And also, can we realistically have a turnaround like last season? We went from dead last ranked defense last year to one of the better or one of the best after week 10. Now, with that, we were not playing those elite offenses anymore, though." But anyway, he said, "Also going on to beat the Steelers in the wild card round and falling oh so short in the Bills game. I understand the competition was very different from weeks 1 to 10 and then 11 to 17, but even so, we cleaned up a lot and went on a run in the playoffs." It's true. He said, "I personally think that if we get healthy after the bye, we can make a run and stack win after win against teams like the Bears, Patriots, Dolphins, and Jets, also beating the Bengals twice. And if we play our cards right, beat the Browns for a second time and sweep the Steelers. I think we can realistically end the season with a record between 12-5 or 11-6, making a 6 or 7 seed and make a run in the playoffs just like we did last season. What are your thoughts?" And hopefully, like Zach Orr is after the season, I'm out. We'll have Austin with the ending. Yeah. It's possible. I think it is possible, and it's very realistic because they're facing a similar situation as they faced last year, like you mentioned, to where, hey, they done had the top teams. They done played a lot of these top teams, these top quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff. But now CJ Stroud, they made him like a top quarterback. But now you're going against the not-so-top quarterbacks and not-so-top teams. So a change and a turnaround is realistically possible.